Welcome to the first episode of a SkinDepth Convo. I'm Anna Kagarakis. This is a show focused on educating and inspiring all of those in the skincare and beauty industry. But it's also a show for those who are interested in finding ways to improve themselves from the inside out. Or maybe you're just interested in finding an entertaining show with some great conversation. Well, you found the right place. In each episode, we'll be covering all kinds of incredible topics, and I guarantee we'll be having lots of fun along the way. And that's because of our two expert hosts. Today's show is not only the first episode, but it's also a very special episode where we'll preview what's to come on the show, and more importantly, we'll get to know these incredible women who are a wealth of knowledge and are known all around the globe. I'm so honored and excited to introduce two of the most impressive women you will ever meet, part of the founders of Lyra Clinical, Metaxia Delikas and Francine Kagarakis. Ladies, here we go. Episode number 1. You ready?
We're ready.
You ready to go?
All right. Well, I'm ready too. But first, how about a word from Lyra Clinical?
Lyra Clinical takes today's skincare to the next level. Using cutting-edge technology and the best high-quality ingredients, Lyra gives you brighter, healthier, younger-looking skin. With award-winning products, advanced education, and innovative skincare philosophies, Lyra Clinical is redefining aesthetics and offering superior products and treatments that produce remarkable results. It's beauty from the inside out. Be bright, be beautiful, Lyra Clinical.
All right, Metaxia, well, both of you have been in this industry for a while, and I think it's important for everyone to really get to know who you are and talk about all that you've seen and experienced throughout the years. But let's go back a little bit. How did it all start, and how did you actually get into the skincare industry?
I was very fortunate to be able to get a job with a dermatologist's office in San Francisco, Dr. Bruce Cohen. His wife, Janet Cohen, was RN, and I was just fortunate to start working when the skincare was changing, anti-aging, peels. It all began about 35 years ago. So I was really fortunate then to have that opportunity.
How about you, Fran?
Well, I happened to be dragged in by Metaxia because I think it was around 88. I think that time I just had my second daughter, and Metaxia was going to Greece that summer, and I covered her that month at Dr. Bruce Cohen's office. And this is the first time I was exposed to all the different things in dermatology that were aesthetic. And that was the first time I also experienced my first facial.
What kind of facial was it?
It was a facial. When I went in, I was so shocked because I thought I was getting a makeover. Did not realize that they were going to go ahead and clean my face, make sure my face was bright and beautiful. I came out with no makeup on and my hair flat. So I was like completely shocked. But then I realized when I went home and took care of my skin, I realized it was a lot better than before. So that was my first experience.
Anybody knowing Francine, her hair is really important.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So it has to be really high.
Because you're 5'2", so you need a little
She's
extra inches.
5'8" when her hair's done.
That's right.
Excuse me, my 4 inches are very, very important. It balances all this. And what the nice part about it is nowadays you don't have to ruin the hair. You could actually get these great treatments with no steam.
Yeah, what's really cool is that if going back, Dr. Van Scott and Dr. Yu were one of the pioneers with glycolic. There was no glycolic when we first started doing this. And we were part of the beginning as far as clinical trials and studies. We worked with a lot of famous people. And to see the transition from what we had then and what we have now is amazing. So it really has changed. And we've been very fortunate, Francine and I, to be able to be part of this change. So, I mean, I just find myself very fortunate.
Well, when I went in for that first month, I was surprised because I was used to going in and dealing with biopsies and different things in the medical side. So here I was introduced to peels, I was introduced to fillers and different items that were very exciting to me, but foreign to me. And if anybody knows, Metaxia was in there. Every time a new rep came in with a peel, she was the first to say, let it be me, because she loved those peels. Metaxia was the first person to stand in and experience the treatment.
Well, glycolic, we didn't know really what it did.
Right.
And so getting a glycolic peel, it was a hit and miss. How much time do you leave it on? What to expect? How to leave the office with no SPF? It wasn't even a standard.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, it was a learning curve. But what you learned from all of this, it was an unknown. What you learned is that it was, it was different on every client or every patient. It didn't, react, the same with Francine and I. I had a totally different response. She had a totally different response. So it was really cool to see this transition.
Well, the nice part, Metaxia is whatever you want to call it, a blonde. With hazel green eyes.
I know, I like how she's very offended by the fact that you said whatever you want to call it, blonde is. She's still blonde. She's originally a blonde.
Naturally
right?
blonde. So
I like to see some real natural color on Francine.
I know, right? What's the natural color now?
There's more pigment in me because I actually take after my mom's side, and they're much darker. My dad's side, blonde, hazel green eyes. So there's not a lot of melanin in their skin. So whatever acid you choose to introduce to Metaxia skin, perfectly fine. I always like to joke around and say battery acid. Take it from your car, put it on her face. She'll be fine. I'm the complete opposite. You look at me funny and I suddenly hyperpigment. So I'm somebody who had to deal with melasma during pregnancy, and I'm somebody who cannot tolerate many aggressive treatments as Metaxia can. And one of the fun times we had is when Metaxia was demoing a Jesner peel, and we would layer the Jesner peel, and I was her demo person, and so she was going ahead and doing a layer and describing everything to everyone. Well, my skin was on fire. It was totally on fire. And so she was ready to do a 2 to 3 layer Jesner on me. And all these people were standing around watching this demonstration. So I say on the corner of my mouth in Greek, don't touch me again because my face is on fire and I'm going to pigment. So Metaxia caught on and suddenly goes, well, now you understand how to do this treatment. So let's go on about how do you complete this treatment. So it was a very cool way of explaining that 1 layer was enough at that point because my skin could not tolerate more.
Real quick, so in case people don't realize this too, for people who don't know you, you two are sisters, obviously. So if
Still
they haven't
are.
caught on, yes,
Still
you're still sisters. You're still related. Nobody knows you better than each other, honestly. So,
well, she was frosting, and the estheticians that are doing chemical peels, there's a frosting effect, and the frosting really came up really fast on her, and her skin was just really sensitive. So by her look, and body language plays an important role when you do treatments. You really have to understand that some people are really sensitive on certain times of the month. So she was just the wrong time. She was not in a place to have a chemical peel that was too deep. So she gave me those looks with her big eyes and said, enough. And so we stopped and we did a detour. We kind of finished off faster than we would have, but everybody was happy with the treatment. What I could tell you, what we teach our classes, there's a yin and a yang that make a complete circle. I like to say she's a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. She brought in the nutrients that I was not aware of, because I was taught back then with the dinosaurs that you really have to go down and take all the skin, as much skin off as possible. But there is a transition where you don't want to take and disrupt epidermis, and you really want to keep it rich of nutrients. And Fran does the natural part and I do more the chemical part. So there's a yin and a yang. And it really has come full circle that peels are not supposed to give you that much downtime, 2-3 weeks of red, irritated skin and inflamed skin. It really is no downtime or less downtime. And Fran and I together have come up with a program that really works so that you can get a result without having that inflammation lingering.
Well, when we first went out, the whole idea is that we went out into the market and training chemical peels and teaching people how to peel. And the way we did it is by teaching them skin science, understanding why they needed to peel. And this is what the key thing for us was. We did a whole journey of what the skin cell does. And at that point, we told them why we needed to go ahead and peel. But the key thing here is, as Metaxia is saying, we used to take it all off to the point where you would cause hyperpigmentation. The skin would be irritated. Glycolics were very irritating on the skin and drying. So the client had all this downtime and there was all these issues you had to deal with. So I was not the best candidate for all these great treatments. So it has completely turned nowadays, which we have found, especially with Lyra, is we have to make sure that the skin can tolerate the treatment. So we make sure the skin is at a healthy state before we start the controlled wound. And this is what we love doing. We love putting in the skin, make sure the skin is hydrated, make sure the skin can tolerate whatever we're going to do, and then go in and do a complete analysis on the skin and see what treatment is best for the client.
We weren't treating global skin. It was basically treating just the Fitzpatrick 1, 2s, and 3s, the light skin, because of the risk factor. So she's right. We were being more selective. Lyra has given us the opportunity to treat global skin. So we treat all skin of color, which is really important. It's changed. So we are able to do a lot more without the downtime. People are really coming in so that they have that correction without having the risk of someone telling you, oh, you had something done in your face. So they look, which I take a lot of pride on, they look better after treatment, a Lyra treatment, than they did when they came in. And that really means a lot, because most people, mindset is like, oh, I don't want to look like I had a service.
Right.
I just want to go right back to work. I don't want people to know that I'm doing this on my skin. I want to have a natural type of result without too much revealing that I had so many things done. So it has changed.
And I think most consumers understand the healthy concept. We believe in being healthy inside and out. So we do talk to clients about their lifestyle. We do find out, sun exposure. All of these items are very, very important before we start doing treatments on them and giving them home care. So again, we do a skin analysis, get the skin to where it needs to be. And this is where Metaxia was talking about earlier, all the nutrients. We have to put into their skin the nutrients that the cells need. Happy cells make a happy skin. And this way we can correct it as needed.
And it sounds like, obviously you've learned a lot throughout the years, but over these years, you've done a lot of educating. You've done everything from, right now you have your own line in Lyra Clinical. You're teaching constantly about new products that are coming out and new treatments that are coming out. But you've done this for a long time. And before you even opened Lyra, you started out as educators as well. Can you talk about some of your experiences before in teaching?
Yes.
We first started off going to esthetician school at 40 years old was a experience. My father thought, why don't you get a real job? What are you doing? But, proving him wrong, because we loved aesthetics and we loved the challenge of doing something that was fresh and new in the industry. So we started off doing these classes and literally would take a truck and drive from the East Bay to San Francisco and teach classes to one or two.
No, we borrowed Dad's truck. If you remember correctly, we would take Dad's truck and we load it up with chairs, pop-ups, or we call them retractables. And we'd take a dozen bagels with cream cheese and fruit and yogurt to this day. And we'd have 12 people signed up. 2 would come in. Remember that? But the nice part about it is 2 turned to 4, 4 turned to 8, 8 turned to 10, and so on and so on. So the word got out that we were really about letting our clients understand that education is the key to success, understanding how to use a product, why you're using a product makes a difference.
Well, our training wasn't based on the line that we were using. Right. I think that's the gift, because we've done a couple of lines in our past, but it was never about the brand. Mm-hmm. It was more about the function and really how to do a proper assessment and how to do a proper treatment on someone picking a right modality. So we started off being very brand neutral to the point that education was the focus. So with that, we went from an educator to a distributor. As a educator, we were going up and down the coast, California, and peeling as many estheticians that would allow us to.
I think you peeled all of California. We went in, and she would embarrass half the people in there and say, you need to peel. Look at your skin. But the nice part about it is they understood why they needed to peel and why they needed product to continue this process, why they needed protection. All of it goes together.
It wasn't as common back then. We were talking years ago. It wasn't that common that people would get treatments. It was rare. People would come in for a condition. Now it's more common. You see with social media, people are getting treatments and looking at their best. Then from being an educator to a distributor, what we found with a distribution is that, it's great, but you really are controlled and you are just distributing what you have in your possession. With all these years of experience, we realized, wait a minute. We're not going to be told. We're going to tell. And we had given so many ideas to the lines that we worked with to the point they said, wait a minute, there is just a lot more we can do. And the right time for Lyra was back in 2010, where we spent 3 years working really hard, doing a lot of research and bringing the international market to one.
We took the peels and sent them to Australia, to Europe, and here in the U.S., and had some clients and did a huge research on seeing what worked and what did not work.
For peels, everybody thinks a peel is an easy formula to put together, but it's not, because it's very similar to a phone and a smartphone. Years ago we had a phone that was connected to the wall, and you would be limited to receiving and calls and doing calls. But this phone today has become your lifeline.
Right.
Everything. You do everything with your phone. And that's where the peels are. The peels have become so much of a lifeline to corrective skincare. And it took that 3 years to kind of put together these fantastic combination and blends. And we take a lot of pride with our Lyra peels.
We do, because we take standard peels, gold standard like the Jesner. How do you take something that's so great and make it
140
even
years
better?
old.
That's right. It's a great peel. And by adding colloidal gold and silver, made it a complete difference because as you're in the skin, you're able to actually allow the skin to heal faster. And the whole idea is to have less inflammation during a peel, controlled inflammation. And this is what we were studying, and this is what we were looking for, and our peels do deliver that.
Well, it's going to be really exciting to kind of go more in depth on later on in the different shows. We're going to get into ingredients, what's best for your skin, why you choose certain products, things like that. So very exciting. And I cannot wait for the listeners to get to know you both a little bit more. We'll get to know you more as the show goes on. Now I can say I know you both very, very well. Known you both my entire life. And the reason why, well, Francine, I'm your daughter, obviously. You know that, but not everybody else knows that. Metaxia, you're my aunt. It's really funny to call you both Metaxia and Francine, also because I'm so used to calling you Thea and my mom, obviously. But it is something that this whole show was actually started originally because, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the things we talked about, I told you both saying you need to create a show because you have so much knowledge between the two of you. You have so many amazing experiences, which we just got the tip of the iceberg today, listening to how you actually started in this industry and everything. So I think it's something that's really important. I think there's some great stories that need to be shared with everybody within this industry and beyond. So I'm really excited to be a part of this with both of you. And I mean, my connection, obviously, in broadcasting is I've worked in broadcasting for almost 19 years. I started off in TV and radio working in sports. So switching to beauty has been something it's been different, but I feel like it's not too different because I've been around both of you so long and kind of seeing how you've progressed in this industry and learning just basically through osmosis between the two of you, basically. So I'm very excited to be a part of the show with both of you right now.
And we are totally excited to have you.
Well, I have to say that I've watched you grow into a fantastic broadcaster.
Thank you.
Just to see your passion. And what I got out of it is that in life, to be successful, there has to be a passion in what you do, no matter what you do. So for you to have this talent and for us to have these stories, I think it's a good fit.
I think it's going to be a perfect fit. Obviously, between the two of you, with being sisters, family is kind of something important for Lyric.
Well, I think defining the word family, you don't have to necessarily be a family member. You could be a family member without having blood ties. Mm-hmm. So I think that our customers and the people that we've experienced through our journey, we consider family.
We consider all four of us our partners. I know your daughter Anna is one of our partners, and our Irish sister Brenda is also our family. But I do have to say this, as family, we appreciate all our wonderful customers because they are part of our family. But we also, if you remember, Anna, as we are testing products, I remember that you would try some of the new products, mm-hmm. and you were on the tennis team, and you were trying one of our exfoliating products, and you got sunburned.
Uh-huh.
So we do use our family members as guinea pigs.
Yep.
To try new products, and we see if it works or not.
Well, I'm that dry skin. I have that very, very dry skin. I mean, I asked you both today for some stuff for my hands because of this cold weather that we're experiencing right now. And you'll always find something that kind of help me out and say, okay, try this out, try this, and we'll see what kind of works. So, and like you said, importance of obviously your customers feel like family, and anybody that I've met who knows you feels like they're part of the family.
That's a whole journey. The fact that the relationships and contacts that we've had for over 30 years matter. And we've learned from them. They've learned from us. And it's a story. And Lyra is about the journey, and it is about putting ideas and concepts from many different angles. I mean, Brenda, our Irish partner, we experienced things back in 2002. Mm-hmm. The journey of us learning, from her and from her learning from us really made it a really good relationship. And I consider her just as much as a family member than
all of us.
All of us.
The nice part about this is we have 4 different partners, and all 4 of us have different perspective on skincare. So when we introduce new products, it's very unique. It's a think tank philosophy where we sit back and we look at a product. Why do we need it? Why is ours going to be better than anybody else's on the market? The number one thing is you need results. If we're going to put out a product, we need to make sure that that product gives a person results. Brightening the skin is very, very important, and every product is unique to Lyra.
Well, I have to also put a shout out for Anna Delikas Constantine, my daughter. I pulled her out of middle school and had her pack boxes, mm-hmm. high school, do trade shows. And she is also one of the partners in Lyra. And to see what she could bring to the table as her insight of certain things really kind of helped. I mean, you and Anna and Brenda and Fran and I, Bryce, we've even brought Bryce into the
Brenda's son.
business, Brenda's son. It is a learning experience to make Lyra what it is today. It's not about a person, it's about a team that really get along and respect each other.
But I have to say one thing about Anna. Now, this is Metaxia's Anna. And both girls, my Anna and Metaxia's Anna, are named after our mother.
I know it's kind of like my big fat Greek wedding,
Yes.
Nick, and Nikki.
Yes. And what I have to say is when Anna first came on, she's very much like her mother. As her mother loves to peel and take off the layers of skin, Anna was a fantastic waxer and she loves peeling. So she's also a little more on the exfoliation side.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, the grandmother, our mom, we've peeled her skin. We've done some kind of testing on her skin, development research on her skin way back 30 years ago when we were playing with TCAs and understanding the skin and ethnic skin and pigmentation. So, yeah, I mean, we've peeled a lot of skin.
Quite a bit. And Mom,
She looks good. I'm going to tell you. You know how many people stop me to say, "That's your grandmother"?
Yeah.
She looks amazing. Like, I know.
good genes, great peels, and good skincare.
And really good life. I mean, good lifestyle. I mean, eating the Mediterranean diet is really, really cool too. She's been very active. I think what we've learned with skin is that it's an organ. The more active you are, the more you exfoliate and hydrate. It shows in the skin. The more you move, the more you exercise, the proper diet, it all
matters.
Well, this is what we're going to learn. Every episode, we're going to learn what's best from the inside out, what works. We'll let you know the biggest news in the industry. We're going to talk about it. We'll give you all the updates. We'll also have amazing roundtable discussions. We have some amazing shows planned out with some great discussions, very hot button topics, everything that you could think of to provide education for different treatments, ingredients, whatnot. Now, something else we'll be doing is taking questions from listeners. If you have any questions for Metaxi or Francine, you can email us at skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. Again, that's skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. You can always reach out to us on social media at Lyraclinical. Use the hashtag SkinDepthConvoQuestion on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll get your questions out there, and we'll answer them as best as possible. The first question comes from Emily Zupan. Emily asks, I'm curious about how Lyra started and the passion as why and what was happening when it was created. Meaning, what were the thoughts of the people or person starting the company wanting to achieve and why? Now, we did already mention how the company started, but I really want to focus on that whole passion that she's talking about. What was the passion behind Lyra?
I think the passion behind Lyra really was to produce a line that had that special touch. It's a line that's going to offer us
Going to offer love. We put love in every bottle.
It's like cooking. It's a recipe, but if you could tell that someone really took the time and the effort and picked the right ingredients, and that recipe is different than someone that just put things together. So we want to bring to the industry a line that has all the passion and the love and the experience of who we are.
And to make sure everybody knows we are not private label.
Right.
And what
does that mean? Sorry, for somebody like me, I am not in this industry. What does that mean to be private label?
I'll give you experience. I got my hair done the other day, and Fran, I heard about you getting your hair done.
I wonder what was said.
One of the owners said, I made my own line for shampoos and conditioners. And Fran went and said, what ingredients are you using? And she looked at her and said, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, to make a line, you really have to take time and go to the lab and figure out the right ingredients. And she says, no, I just put a name on a bottle.
Yes.
So it's
interesting.
Yeah. So a private label is you go into a lab and you just say you want a cleanser, you want a conditioner, and basically there's a base.
There's a standard formula that you just put your name on.
But I heard about you because she was trying to question, how did you start?
I wanted to buy some. I was trying to figure out, what's exciting? If something new, I wanted to use it. And at that point, I don't want to use a standard shampoo or conditioner. I want to find something unique because there's so many brands out there that put that love into their product that I want to find it. And that's what Lyra brings. Again, 4 of us sit down and decide what product is needed and what type of ingredients we need to put into it. What does that product need to do? And for that product to go to market, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of work. There's a lot going into it.
A year and a half from concept to production. It's about a year and a half.
Wow.
So it takes time. I mean, you get prototypes going back and forth, the texture, the scent, the ingredients, adding, taking it out.
They don't all make it.
No.
We've had one peel that was 1.5 years out in the prototype. We sent it out to our representatives. We sent it out to international. And it did not come back with a lot of love.
No.
So that product never went to market.
So there is a lot of trial and error, and that's really important because Lyra is customized to what we like, that we know that the customer and our estheticians will love working with.
And I see that also in the products that you guys put out there because, like I said, I've gone through so many different of the products, you know, when you started with distribution to now with Lyra, that I've tried out basically everything. And I do notice a difference in the quality and what genuinely works. So this is one of the few products that actually genuinely works with my skin. I have very difficult skin, and you guys have worked really hard on it. And, you know, as much as I've been your quote-unquote guinea pig for certain things, it helps to actually have a product that has good quality out there.
And we have to admit, I did burn you every so often. We gave you some products that were a little too much. You said, Mom, what is this? I go, honey, it's okay. It's exfoliating.
I could tell you one simple example. If you go to a store and just pick up a vegetable or go to a farmer's market and pick up a vegetable, there's a different texture, a different taste. Because it's selected. It's, you know, you have taken that time, additional time to put effort in to get that certain vegetable.
Right.
The same thing with products. You know, you could get an ingredient, but when you take that extra time and get an ingredient from a special region or a different country and you put it together and you make that special formula, that's what makes Lyra different. We are not just trying to put the standard out there. We're trying to excel and put the best in the market.
And our ingredients are not diluted.
No.
Because you can find an ingredient on a label, but a lot of times it's diluted, so it's barely in a product. So we're very proud to say we do put a lot of love, and we try to put the best in every product.
See, you're making everyone feel like family already. Again, if anybody has any questions, thank you again for Emily Zupan for your question. Thank you, Emily, for your question. Again, you'll be also receiving, because Emily sent in a question, she will receive a special gift pack from Lyra Clinical. And if you have any questions, again, if we use it on the show, then you will also receive a special gift from Lyra. And if you have any questions, email us at skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. Ladies, first episode is in the books. I want to thank you very much. I'm very excited for the show that we have going forward right now. Some great conversations to come. I'm very excited for our next roundtable discussion, so we'll have more information on that. We'll give teasers down the road as well. But before we go, anything that you want to add in?
I just want to thank you for all the hard work, getting us to sit in one room.
That's difficult.
That's difficult.
I have to wrangle you guys in here.
It's hard because we have so much to do, but I think it's a good opportunity for the listeners to get to know us on a totally different platform.
And Anna, I'm very proud of you, and I'm also very, very excited about moving forward with this podcast. We want to get to know all of our wonderful family members out there, all of our great people, and we want to thank them so very, very much, not only for listening, but being a part of Lyra.
We're very excited for what's to come, and thank you all for listening, and make sure to subscribe to this podcast, Skin Depth Convo. Lots of excitement to come. So thank you very much for everyone here at a Skin Depth Convo. I'm Anna Kagarakis, and we'll talk to you next time.